Welcome. This is the Endsmark video tutorial for our new Endsmark Essentials system, and we're going to spend about half of the video going through some of the sample presentations for each of the four modules you're seeing here. This is the Endsmark Essentials main menu, the four modules being illustration of values, permanent versus term, other investments versus your policy, and various financial alternatives. These are sales presentations using cash value life insurance. So the first half of the video, we're going to kind of run through some of these different presentations and kind of explain why producers use them and how they're effective. And then the second half of the video, we're going to talk a little bit about how you get the proposal data when you run the carrier proposal or WinFlex, how you get the premiums, cash values, and death benefits and so on each case over to the Endsmark Essentials system. Before we get into some of the sample presentations, I just wanted to show very quickly how you get to this Endsmark Essentials main menu. When you purchase Endsmark Essentials, you'll get an email, and I'm just going to type in endsmark.com. You'll get an email, and that email will help you set up a new password. And then you come into endsmark.com, you sign into your account, you click on My Endsmark, you come down here, and then there'll be whatever options you have, and you'll click on the Endsmark Essentials box, and it'll bring up the main menu you see now. So accessing Endsmark Essentials, you just do it from endsmark.com. It's really very simple. The second thing I wanted to show, if you look down here, you'll see upgrade to the full Endsmark illustration system. So the reason we created Endsmark Essentials was we wanted to create a very inexpensive, easy to use version of the Endsmark illustration system that had the most popular modules. In the full Endsmark illustration system, you can see here that there's a lot that's there, that all these different things. But that can be kind of intimidating, and so we wanted to create a really inexpensive, simple to use, shortened version of the Endsmark illustration system, and that's what Endsmark Essentials does. And so the last thing before we actually get into some of these presentations and we talk about it a little bit, is I just wanted to explain to you why I really think this is worth your time to study what Endsmark has done to help you convince clients and their advisors when cash value life insurance is a suitable option. And what you're looking at now is Bob Ritter was the founder of Endsmark. Bob passed in July of 2022, and the Forum 400 is one of the most prestigious life producer organizations in the world, and they created a Lifetime Achievement Award in Bob's name that will be awarded to a life producer every year or two who's making an outstanding contribution to our industry. And the reason the Forum felt strongly about this is because they felt like the sales presentations that Bob and Endsmark had created had had a massive impact on their ability to help clients and their advisors understand when cash value life insurance is a suitable and important part of the overall financial and estate plan. So I tell you this because it's important for you to know that you're investing your time wisely in something that is credible. And the Endsmark illustration system and Bob Ritter were credible with top life producers for 40 years, since the company Endsmark was founded in 1983. So with that said, let's take a look at a couple of these sample presentations so you can get an idea sort of what these do. So illustration of values, I'm going to view the sample, and we'll do a preview. And so what you're going to see here is this is a preface and a summary graph of the basic policy. So you see you have the cumulative premiums shown by these bars, 400,000 of cumulative premium. Then you see the cash values growing, 2.1 million, the death benefit, 2.8 million. As you scroll down, this is a nice clean numbers page, 20,000 a year premium for 20 years. There's your accumulation value, your cash values, and then it also shows you the internal rate of return on cash value, which is not great in the first 5 years, but over time you've got a net internal rate of return of 8.35%, the death benefit more than 11% net. Here's a graphic representation of what's happening with the internal rate of return with the death benefits and the cash values. So it's just a very clean way of showing the impact of the policy over time to the client's financial picture. Moving on, take a look at permanent versus term. This is someone who says, I'm not going to buy cash value life insurance, I'm just going to buy term and invest the difference in mutual funds or what have you. Here's a sample for that. We'll do our quick preview. So what we're seeing here is you have this option to create these case organizers. You can pick from different photos and kind of organize your case and show presented by. Some people like these, other people don't care about it. But if we scroll down to the second page, again, the preface, this is pretty interesting. For the same $720,000 of cumulative premium, either in a term and invest the difference or a cash value life insurance product, let's compare how much tax-free retirement income was produced. In the case of term and invest the difference, $1.8 million. In the case of the cash value product, $4.2 million. Pretty significant difference. And if we come down and look at the numbers page, you can drill down. Here's the premium, the cost of term, and so on, invested in a mutual fund. We start taking $140,000 out a year in year 21. And then by the time the client is 78, the side fund with the term insurance is gone, totally exhausted, whereas we continue to take $140,000 out a year, tax-free retirement income with the cash value life insurance product. Last thing I'll show is here's a report I really like called the matching interest rate report, and this shows the equivalent net rate of return that the mutual fund would have to earn to match the values in the cash value product. 10.38% net, which is pretty tough to get. And that means you're having to make 13 to 15% pre-tax. Then other investments versus your policy is where you're comparing just an alternative investment, no term insurance, just an alternative investment to your cash value life insurance product. And various is where you can compare up to 4 different alternative investments to your cash value life insurance product. So these are sort of similar. Let's take a look at various, just to save a little time here. And so here again we've got our case organizer, and we'll come down here. Here's our preface. Won't spend a ton of time, but you can kind of see if we come down to the numbers page, we've got $85,000 a year going into either a taxable bond fund, tax deferred account, or equity account, different assumptions and so on, or the index universal life product. Starting at age 66, we take $290,000 a year, and look what happens. By age 80, all of the other investment accounts are depleted, and yet the cash value product continues to produce income for the client. Again, here's your matching interest rate report. Taxable bond fund needed 14.76%, tax deferred account needed 9.99%, and equity account 9.68. So pretty impressive and a very effective way to show the power of cash value life insurance in this way. Now what I want to talk about a little bit is how do you get the proposal data when you run from the carrier's illustration or WinFlex over to the Endsmark Essential system so you can create these sales presentations. I'm going to show you a graphic of how this works. So whether you're running the carrier's proposal system or if you're running WinFlex as the overlay, you're going to create an illustration that has the premiums, cash values, and death benefits for a particular run. In some cases, these, either the carrier proposal system or WinFlex with whatever carrier you're dealing with, will have an automatic data link over to the InsMark platform. And here's InsMark Essentials. So if you want to find out if your specific carrier has this link over to InsMark, what I'm going to do is go into Create a Proposal and Illustration of Values, and you'll see we have a note here. It says, if you want to find out the current status of your life insurance company and whether it links to InsMark, contact David Grant, Senior Vice President Global Sales, and it provides number and email address. And David can give you an update and tell you, who the contacts are at the home office for that. Many times carriers do not currently have a link to InsMark, and in that case, you simply click this button that says Input New Policy Data, and then you can copy and paste the premiums and cash values and death benefits from a PDF for the carrier proposal or from WinFlex. Now, one thing on that, you're going to want to store that PDF on your hard disk and then copy and paste from there. Don't try to copy and paste a PDF from a browser. That can be problematic. And as it pertains to this copy and paste from a PDF, I just want to show you one thing. In each of the 4 modules, so I'll go back to the main menu. So you have illustration of values, permanent versus term, and other investments and various. If we go into create a proposal, each of these modules will have its own tutorial video. And the illustration of values tutorial video is really important because it gets into specific instructions on how you copy and paste from your home office proposal PDF over into, you click here, and how you copy and paste over into these different arrays. It's not hard to do, but the video will really be helpful to you for that. And then one last thing I wanted to show you, and then we're done. I'm going to go back to the main menu here. In some cases, for those of you that are using the Chrome browser and also Adobe Acrobat, sometimes when you go to preview an illustration, it'll try to bring up the illustration in an Adobe window. See, it says Adobe Acrobat. And it might even have an additional window that asks you to sign into your Adobe or into your Adobe software. Go ahead and sign into it. This is not a problem. All you have to do is just maximize it, and then here you can zoom in, and then you're fine. You're right back to being able to see this, but some people get thrown by that. If you don't like viewing this in Adobe, then you can always use Endsmark Essentials in a browser other than Chrome. So that's all for now. We appreciate you spending time with us and hope you enjoy using Endsmark Essentials to prove that cash value life insurance is a very effective product for certain clients in their financial planning.